All right. Hello, everyone. I am Isimemen Joby, business and career growth strategist, and I love working with Black women and women of color to help them land their dream jobs, skyrocket their salaries, and live rich, fulfilling lives. Now, today, I have with me the illustrious Funmi. I am excited about Funmi sharing her story because Funmi did not come to play. She did not come to play. And when she stepped into the room with me and my team, it was go time. And Funmi has been able to transform her life, her career. She did not go back to school. She did not apply to hundreds of places as her strategy. She came in the room and did the work. And Fumi's going to talk to us about that journey today. So, Funmi, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me, EC.
Of course. Of course. Of course.
I
What'd you say?
said I love the program. It was such a life transformation.
I'm so excited. Oh, we're gonna get into it. I just wanted to first talk about how cute you were, because my guests don't usually come on here eating like this, but Fumi decided she was gonna show up and show out. So just shout out to the beauty. So she's giving the complete package. And so you're inspiring us right now, Fumi.
Thank
Before we kick off, Fumi, can you tell me what you do now? Before we start talking about the new role, tell us a little bit about you, just your role now. Tell us a little bit about your education, right? So undergrad degree and master's degree as well, and years of experience.
So I am in pediatric oncology, case manager at a hospital. That role is very, as you said, oncology is a lot.
Um,
My graduate degree is in social work. My undergraduate degree is in family and human services. And both degrees are people-facing degrees. So
yeah.
I've always been in the people business
Okay. Okay. And how many years of experience since graduating from undergrad?
since what are we 7 years.
7 years.
Yeah.
So Fumi, tell me what had not been working in your career that made you say, okay, God, today's the day I'm having a conversation with EC. What had not been working? What had been frustrating you?
So since August of last year, I was at work one day and I just sat in the desk and I was like, Holy Spirit just dropped on me like, this isn't where you're supposed to be. And I
Mm,
was like, okay, like where am I supposed to be then? Because I'm here, you gave me this job. Where am I
yeah,
supposed to be? And the Holy Spirit made it clear after that day, like I was not supposed to be there. I found no joy, no pleasure going into work anymore. I was just frustrated. And I kept coming home to my husband, like, I just don't feel it anymore. Like Holy Spirit's calling me to do something else, but I just don't know what that looks like. I don't
yeah,
want to go back to school. I don't think I should go back to school. I don't know what more looks like. So I started like just I'm browsing around LinkedIn to see, but when you don't know what you're looking for, you don't know how to
yeah,
execute properly.
yeah.
So after complaining, I think it was February and a little early March, I came across your page on LinkedIn and I was telling my husband, like, oh, I think you're friends with her on LinkedIn. He was like, oh, yeah, easy. I know her. She gets people paid and gives them what they need to be.
Yes, husband.
So I was like, well, I'm going to book a call to see, and the rest is history.
Okay. So for me, before our call, you like the Holy Spirit. So you and I are both Jesus girls, right? So God is a big part of our lives. And so what I'm hearing is you were agitated in your spirit, right? So work maybe, I mean, work was a lot, but it wasn't even work. And correct me if I'm wrong, that pushed you over the edge. It was God telling you, okay, it's time. Like you've overgrown this place. I have more for you. It's time to move. And it was you obeying that voice.
Yeah.
Okay. What I think is cool about that, because I haven't really heard that. I've talked to a lot of women, and most women, it gets to a place they don't start really trying to change and invest and transform until everything has fallen apart, right? Oh my gosh, what was me? My life, my life, my life. I can't take it. I'm underpaid. And not to say they still could have paid you more, but those things weren't really driving you. It was you immediately got clear that you were out of alignment and you weren't in your purpose and calling. And instead of being disobedient to the voice of God in your life, or being like, well, God is a paycheck and this economy, and why would I try to shift? And instead of leading with kind of fear and doubt and making reasons for why you should stay at a place that you've outgrown, you started to do something about it.
Yes.
Okay, so I think that everyone needs to take that instead of waiting for your life to fall apart, be listening for when it's time to shift. Be listening for when it's time to make a turn in your life, in your career. So you and I have that conversation, And we are talking about you and where you are in your career and your life. And your husband actually comes on the call and joins us.
Yeah, I knew I couldn't make that decision without him being involved because I can want something and he can want something else, and the Holy Spirit can tell him a different thing. So we kind of have to be on the same page when we make
Yeah.
big decisions when it comes to career.
And life. And
Yeah.
so, what was cool for that call was to see your husband in action. For me, the level of support was just insane. And so, we have this call. We're talking about your career, we're talking about what's not working. And it was funny because he wasn't really talking, he was taking it in, but like, it's almost like he was agreeing, like, like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's the career is not giving what it's supposed to give. And so it was fun to watch him support you, like as a leader. Like I could tell he leads you, but he also just gave you space. Like, okay, this is your time, this is your life, this is your career, and I'm always going to stand for you. What was it like doing that call? Because it's also a very transparent call. We talk about your emotions, we talk about like we're talking about everything. So what was it like doing it with him there?
So it was the same. Like, honestly, if I can't be honest in front of my husband, in front of somebody that's a stranger, like, then there's no point. But
Yeah,
he knew how I was already feeling. And he was like, well, I know what EC can do. It's not like some random that you just found on TikTok or Facebook. I know what she has done. I know what her results speak for, her fruit speaks for itself. So there's no need of, sugarcoating. I want you to meet with her. If the Holy Spirit guides you that way, take the lead and go. But I'll support you no matter which way you want to go.
that's awesome. And so we get on the call and we talk about everything. And you guys were like, yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful. And then you start your journey. So talk to me. You join Fulfilled. And everyone that comes, and I always tell them, listen, we're not playing. It's gonna get real. Talk to me about, let's start with what challenged you coming into the program and doing the work. What challenged you?
What challenged me was keeping up with the work because I think after we get out of school, we kind of get lazy with doing assignments and doing other things to get our
Mm,
education. But this is still learning, this is still education, and keeping up with the assignments, making sure that we're staying on the course. So that challenged me the most. Like, you can't get lazy. You can't just do what you want to do. You need to stay focused in order to get the results because you put in the time and the energy. I had to put in the same thing as well.
yeah, I hear that. And so for you was getting back in the learner space because we are literally teaching you how to think differently, how to approach your career differently. Like our goal in Fulfilled is to take 10 years of career training and put in the most important parts into 10 weeks. And so as you were journeying, can you tell us what part of the program, what parts blessed you, what parts stood out to you, what parts were like transformative for you? And it might have been more than one, but can you speak to those pieces?
I know the part that really transformed me was a mindset shift. Like, I deserve more. Like, God didn't call me to be small.
Yeah.
Like, He called me to be more. Like, I deserve more. I know there's more out there. So just sitting, being humble when I'm looking for my more, and knowing that God will get me if I'm in my alignment, and everything will work for His plan and for His good. What helped and what grew me the most was a LinkedIn module.
Yeah.
But because when we're on social media, like, LinkedIn's kind of like our professional site. We don't really show too much of our what's going on in our day to day. But Instagram and Facebook and all the other social media outlets, we show kind of like what our day to day looks like. But LinkedIn, I kind of hid from that. But being able to know that you can still get promotions, you can still connect with people, and people are still willing to help you, just reach out and people will connect that way. And showing up on LinkedIn has really tremendously connected me with so many other people in the field of social work alone that are doing other things in the world outside of traditional social work roles that I didn't even know was possible just by showing up on LinkedIn.
Wow. Yeah, because beforehand you didn't really do anything on LinkedIn.
No.
And then you literally became a LinkedIn ninja to the point where, and we'll talk about like your journey getting the role, what that looked like. But you also got a part-time role, I believe. Someone just slid in your DMs
Yeah.
and like, here's money. And it was legit.
Yeah, so she did. And I asked her while we were interviewing, she was like, yeah, I just happened, I never seen you before. And I just happened to see one of your posts. And I was like, let me see what her page is about. And I clicked in it. It was just so beautiful, so nice. And I was like, let me just ask her if she's interested in a part-time role. And I set up an interview. The interview was so informal to the point that it was like a regular conversation. And I
That's
got the job.
amazing. So on top of the full-time job and the offer, we'll talk about the increase. You're also now getting this extra money on the side just from being on LinkedIn.
Mm-hmm.
Would you say you're an introvert or extrovert, Fumi? And would you say that being on LinkedIn was it scary at first? Were you worried? And how did the tools and the support from the program, the rewrite, LinkedIn, refine, all that, how did it all come together to break you out of your shell and help you get
I'm
to
an
where you are?
introvert. I am an introvert. I like people from a distance, even though I'm a social worker. I like people from a distance, but doing LinkedIn really had to break me out of my comfort zone and like, okay, it's okay to post, even if you have nothing to say, like somebody can relate to you somehow, some way. So I was able to do it like that. Breaking out of my shell helped me connect with other people. Even my profile open as well helped me connect with other social workers in the field who are looking to pivot as well, who don't know where to go through and just
Yeah.
come that way. So
Wow. And what parts of the LinkedIn program were you able to leverage to make yourself like a LinkedIn star?
the posting more frequently.
And what to say. So you
Yeah.
felt like you leveraged the resources around where we teach you thought leadership, what to say. You felt like you leveraged that
Mhm.
to start to
Yeah,
to
I did.
okay. And how did you like your rewrite when the team rewrote your LinkedIn?
I loved it. The rewrite was nice because the team knew what I was looking for, what I was trying to go through or go
Yeah.
towards. So they kind of pivoted out of me of the traditional social work roles and pivoted me into like more open spaces, more like leadership roles and more organization management.
Yes. Can we talk about that, Fumi? When you went through the joyful job process. So we have a process of Fulfilled where we help you identify roles you did not know existed at companies you didn't know were hiring, making money you didn't know was possible. And every time people start joyful job, I say, open your eyes, open your heart. Don't go in with, well, I have this degree, I have to stay here. It's like, no, what do you actually have in you that is dying to come out, but has been stifled for so many years? So what did you discover about yourself and what you love career-wise in Joyful Job?
The joyful job helped me get back to like my roots of I like working with people, but just not in a traditional kind of all repetitive type of setting. Like it's okay that some things are routine, but not everything has to be routine about my day. So just breaking out of that, some more like management styles, more business analyst styles. That's what like some things popped up and change management as well, just leadership things that really popped out to me. Like that's where I kind of my area is I still work with people, but I'm also helping them learn leadership, learn to organize themselves and be better as a company or as an individual.
Well, so you had all that discovery taking place. You did your mindset. You're going through Joyful Job, and you're really figuring out. Wait, I think I know. And I remember you and I had our Joyful Job one-on-one, and I sent you back to do some research. And what did you land on as okay? This is where I want to go next. What's that role?
I landed on going into organizational development slash change management as
Okay.
my joyful job, but currently my rich job is program management in an employee assistance program, which will pivot me into organizational development and change management fully well within like the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, so for me, let's step back because I remember when we were talking, and you're like, "Listen, I'm not going back to school. I'm not playing with y'all." And you and I, we got strategic because yes, are there some roles that going back to school might work, right? That you really need to like absolutely have to get a master's. Yes. But most people they just collect masters like their tokens, like their toys. Go and
Yeah.
collect the 60K, whatever, 60K debt loan to go into a master program with no strategy doesn't get them where they need to get. But because you did the work, you were having conversations, you were able to say, okay, this is my dream change management. This is where I am. What is the step? If I reverse engineer, what's the role that will get me there? And you got into program management. And then you were like, okay, I can use my transferable skills. And what I love about Fulfilled is we interact and work with you in such a way where we have you doing the work. Because after you leave this place, Fumi, if you want to get a new job in a year, you are going to be able, yeah, you know exactly what to do. Not because we were doing everything for you, but we were guides. We were co-strategists, but you did the work. So you were able to break into the role that will set you up for the ultimate role. How did it feel when you landed on program management? Were you like, oh my gosh, this is good, this is me? Did you feel like you were settling?
No, I felt like this was great. This is a great way, and even how talking to the managers and what you can do. I can build out programs. I get to talk with people, build out things, strategize, and use my creative side to help a company and build a company that way.
Yeah, that's amazing. And it mirrors a lot from change management and that organizational leadership, and you
Yeah.
get to do that role. Funmi, talk to us about getting this dream role, right? And we know you journeyed a bit. You were talking to people, you were going after certain things. Can you now describe to us the road to getting this dream role?
So it was hard. I won't lie. It was hard at first because it's like, oh, I'm going making great progress. And next thing the Holy Spirit's like, nope, that's not the job for you. That happened twice. And I was like, what is going on here? But
See, that's what happens when you and God are like this. You get that special intel about what to do. So you were going after certain roles at companies and
yes,
just let it go, baby. That's not for you.
yeah, that's what he gave. I was like, what is going on here? And I applied to like two different companies after networking with people and them putting my name in and
Yeah.
everything. I was like, no, that's not the job for you. And they wouldn't call back, or we're looking for somebody else with this type of experience. And then I happened to land on this job, and I was like, yep, this is the job for you. It's the only job that called me back within 24 hours of applying.
So tell us about that job for me. Was that a job you had networked into first, or you had connected with, or did you connect with someone after? Talk to us about your
So I
process.
connected with someone after. So one day I came home from work and I live by a hospital. I was like, let me just check and see what they have hiring that is not a traditional social work role. And I saw it and I was like, I'm just gonna apply. So I applied for it and then I found a recruiter that works within the company on LinkedIn. And I sent her my name and everything. I was like, this is who I am. I applied for this role. Who's the recruiter for this role? And she's, oh, I'm not the recruiter, but I know who the recruiter is. Give me your resume and I'll pass it along. And I did that with them. Next day, the recruiter called me for that role.
So what's beautiful about this is, Fumi, you didn't go like, oh, let me apply to 100 companies a week. You
Mhm.
were very, very methodical and very strategic in your approach. And I love how you went in and applied, because you had people who you would first network work with them, you'll get through referral, which we absolutely say do that. You also might have a role where you're like, I'm gonna go for the role and then find the person and they're gonna pull my application out of the system and know this is me. So you had gotten your updated resume from the resume refiner, the resume team. It was doing what it needed to do, and you sent it to the recruiter. And did you say within 48 hours they called you?
Yeah, the next day she called me.
So within less than 24 hours they called you. And then what happens?
Then we set up she did the screening that Friday. By that Thursday, I had an interview, my first interview, but it was like 4th of July weekend. Everybody's going on vacation July month. So I didn't hear back. And I was reaching out to the recruiter like the third week of July. I was like, hey, I didn't hear anything back yet. What's going on? They said they would reach out to me by this time, but I already knew I had the job because the supervisor called me before 4th of the Friday before 4th of July and was like, I liked you. This conversation was amazing. I just want you to know that we're going on vacation. Don't think we're going to stall you or anything, but you just did a phenomenal job interviewing with us. That it was just a great conversation. We loved your energy and everything. And I was like, okay. She's like, oh, you're the final candidate. And I was like, okay, I got the job in my head. And then they came back from vacation like last week, like, oh no, we have a second interview for you. And I was like, what do you mean a second interview? I thought the job was already mine, the first one. So I had my I had my second interview about like 2 days ago, and they called yesterday. 24 hours later, it said, "Oh, the job is yours."
So from Thursday that you did an interview, then there was
Like a
4th of
month.
July weekend,
Mm-hmm.
and then people were traveling, and then they needed to get you on schedule for a second interview. You
Mm-hmm.
finally did that, and then they gave you the offer.
Yes.
Wow. So let's talk about the interview. Why do you think you did really well in the interview? Did you leverage any of the interview strategies in the program? Did you see your confidence go up from all the work you've done? How was this interview different from other times you've interviewed?
It was different because I just remember it's a conversation. I'm the best person for the job. That's why they called me in. That if I wasn't the best person, they would have called me in. So just remembering that. And
Yeah.
what's interesting as well is Holy Spirit has never told me what to wear to my interviews. Holy Spirit was strategic and told me what to wear. The first interview, I wore a blue top and white pants. I walk into the room. Two other women out of three were wearing blue and white.
Y'all, sorry. So all Fumi is doing is trying to tell y'all to get with Jesus. Because, and that's the thing in Fulfilled too, right? We have components, like we have people who are not believers coming to Fulfilled. I'm a Jesus girl. And we have people who are not Christians or they are other faiths and they still really enjoy the program. And they interact with we have some stuff in there around, because your faith is a part of you getting your dream job, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
It is. So we have stuff in there that's elevating your faith and your belief system, right? In God. And you can choose to interact with it if you want, or you could choose to say, that's not me. No judgment. You can still land your job. But what I love from what I hear you Funmi all the way through is Holy Spirit is literally a lamp lighting the way. Here's the way. There's a verse, is it Isaiah? You will hear a voice telling you this is the way, walking it. That's a summary. But essentially that was him the whole time with you. Like that job, no, this job, yeah, those pants, yes. So all Funmi's doing is plugging Jesus. She's like, if you don't know him, that's one reason why your job search isn't giving what it needs to give. Because you don't have it telling you the answers. So thank you, Funmi, for the plug, the Holy Spirit plug. We love it. So Holy Spirit tells you to wear blue and white. You're wearing the same thing as two of the other women in the office.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, continue.
And the director wore like a pink top and black pants. She's like, I didn't get the memo, we're supposed to wear blue and white. And I'm looking at her like, oops, well.
Girl, you should have been in the group chat. Right. So it's already the camaraderie, the joy. It's like the ice is broken.
Mm-hmm. So that helped as well. Just sitting in the interview just reminded me like I have the skills. I worked through the program, put what I learned from the program into the interview, and just talk about my skill sets. And I don't have to really sell them because I'm in the room already. Just talk about it like I own it. Like these are my skills. This is what I've done. This is what I'm going to do,
Right.
and this is how I'm the best person for this role.
Period. Should we just end the conversation, boo? And I love that you go in knowing they called me because I'm one of the best. So why am I shaking? What is the issue?
Mm-hmm.
All I have to do now is just talk about it. Like, let my words confirm what they already know.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. So you get the offer. Now let's talk money. Did you know? So usually we always tell women in Fulfilled that pre-screening call, you don't want to leave that call without knowing the amount. So whether it's the salary is posted or you get in that call, talk to us about the salary journey for you in this role. Did you know about it? Did you need to ask them? Was this a scale? Were you top, middle, lower? Did you negotiate? How did it feel? Like, walk us through your money story.
So during the pre-screening call, I did ask, and it was in between the lower 90s to mid 90s. And I was like, so how do I get to the upper 90s? Because
Period. Fumi, it's giving confidence. I love this. Yes. How do I get the highest number? I'm sorry. Let's continue. So you're all the screening call. And
so we yeah, I did. And she's like, well, because we're experienced, we can get you there. I was like, I don't want to like a like, a half answer. I was like, okay, well, we'll see what we can come up with by the time the interview comes. Interview comes and they met me at a nice number with a 13K salary increase from my current role now that I'm pivoting to a new role.
Fumi, it's the confidence. And it's funny because you're an introvert, but you weren't scared. Because the thing is, people wear introverts like it's their identity. Like,
Mm-hmm.
oh my gosh, I can't talk, I can't speak. It's just like you may not prefer to run around screaming like I do, right? I'm the extrovert of all extroverts. But when it's game time, this is not about introverted, extrovert, introvert. Oh,
Mm-hmm.
y'all gonna pay me. And I'm gonna speak up for myself when I need to speak up. So I love this energy. I love you not being bound by these ideas, but you're like, I don't care if intro good. That has nothing to do with me. What is the salary for this role? Boom. Oh, how do I get the top number? Okay, this could work. So I love it. And for me, it sounded like you were confident, but you didn't sound pushy. You didn't sound like you had an attitude. You didn't sound negative. You didn't sound what's the word when entitled, right?
Yeah.
Y'all pay me. I know I'm the best. So pay, because no one likes that energy, even if you're the best. But it sounded like you were very kind of matter of fact. Can you talk about your tone the whole way through? Because you sounded like you were very likable, even though you were asking real questions about your money.
Yeah. So honestly, I just kept it like a light conversation, like, hi, how are you? Just ask people how their day is going before you go into the nitty-gritty of why you're really calling and everything. So once you
Yeah.
set this tone or set the presence of like, okay, the stage is set, let's see how they're feeling, how they're about to move, you can see what they're offering, what you can get away with. So when
Yeah,
she called with a salary, I was like, is there a sign-on bonus too? And she was like, not for this role, but maybe another role. So I was trying to see what was on the table, because if you don't know, if you don't ask.
good for you, Funmi. Were you always like this tenacious with your salary, with asking and showing up?
No, I was not.
Wow. So this really came as a result of this work you did in Fulfilled.
Yes.
Wow. 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 Fumi, if you could talk to anyone who is considering Fulfilled, who is watching this, who has looked around, poked around the website, maybe seen some of my stuff, what would you say to her?
I would say to her that there's a reason why you hopped on the initial call to see what it's about. And don't let fear hold you back, because the year is almost over and you don't want to be in the same place that you're in a year later. So you have to
Here.
pull the trigger on some things and sacrifice what you really want at the end of the day, because what I'm learning now has helped and it can help you as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much, Fumi. Thank you for sharing your journey. Just so excited to see where you go.
Thank
Honestly. You're welcome.